Hello there, everybody, and today I'm going to be reviewing Two-Face of Batman the Animated Series, although I'm going to try something different. Since this is a two-parter episode, I feel like just reviewing both episodes as just one long episode. So this is the origin of Two-Face for the DCAU. So, Harvey Dent made a few appearances in the show so far. He made a small cameo in the first episode, but he made his bigger episode in Pretty Poison, where he was poisoned by Poison Ivy. Now we're going to see what happens when he becomes Two-Face. So, this episode is a bigger step up, in my opinion. Not that the other episodes are bad, just that this episode has a lot of stakes and a lot of characterization for Harvey Dent. It's not even really about Batman. Even though he's the main character of his own show, this episode's more about Two-Face. But it opens with Two-Face, or I'll just call him Harvey until he becomes Two-Face. So Harvey ends up capturing some of Rupert Thorne's goons with the help of Batman. But Harvey snaps at the criminal who tries to piss him off. And Harvey literally just goes for it, trying to take out one of his goons. But he's told to keep control of himself by Jim Gordon. But more is going on. But later at a party where it's revealed that Harvey's now running for election again, Bruce is there to support him. And his new fiancée, I think her name is Grace. Yeah, Grace. But things take a turn when Harvey gets a call later in the episode from Rupert Thorne. But he ends up snapping again when he gets a lead towards the man. And he literally pushes a guy into the party. And Bruce tries to calm him down and tell him that he needs to go talk to somebody. But Harvey's denying it that he needs help, but Harvey decides to go with it at a psychological interview by a therapist. I think it's Leslie Tompkins. I don't know if it is, but he ends up flipping his coin. He ends up having an outburst even in the psychology meet, and he might have to be treated at a mental health place. But Harvey is denying it, as he still wants to run for mayor and not look bad. But during a party later, he's ready to announce, I'm saying another party, but he is like literally announcing his engagement, and Grace is grateful that he's about to announce it, but he gets a call from Rupert Thorne about what happened at the therapist meet, and he threatens to reveal what is going on with Harvey if he doesn't meet up with him. And so Harvey decides to leave the scene. He bumps into Bruce, but Bruce tries to convince him not to do it. But Harvey just does it anyway. And he literally meets up with Rupert Thorne and his assailant, Kansas. But Batman manages to sneak a tracker on Two-Face, Harvey's car, and he ends up finding him at some warehouse, where it leads to a fight between Two-Face and Rupert Thorne's goons. And Kansas is like enjoying what's going on with the fight. But Harvey tries to take him out until Batman shows up trying to stop him. But Harvey ends up running away, and he ends up accidentally getting blown up in the factory after someone accidentally shoots I think some of the wiring in the building, causing a big boom in the chemicals, and we get one of the more heartfelt no's from a character, that being Batman, where he says, "No, Harvey." That's a good line from Kevin Conroy. But that's where it leads to the next episode, where Two-Face is born, where he gets the scarring, and Grace ends up visiting him, and she passes out from Harvey's appearance, and Harvey ends up running for it, and that's what leads to part 2. And part 2 is where Two-Face is fully unleashed. He teams up with these two brothers who were later seen in the Batman and Harley Quinn movie as background characters. So interesting first appearance. But apparently they're committing various crimes to attack Rupert Thorne. And this just goes full on with Two-Face. Like, he is just embracing his inner villain. Batman tries to stop him, but he ends up getting away. But he is reminded of Grace. And he decides that he's going to lure her to where he is. But Batman's going to try to put a stop to him by tracking where Two-Face could be. But the best part about this episode is Bruce is haunted by this. He's actually feels guilty. He feels sorry that he actually wants to help Harvey get better, but he even has nightmares thinking it's his fault, and also his parents. And it's very you feel sorry for Bruce, but he decides to put on the costume and go after Two-Face, who is ready to take out Rupert Thorne at some secret, I think it's I don't know if it's a church or something. It's some secret room, and he ends up calling Grace, who is willing to hear him out, and she ends up going to visit where Two-Face is, and he's even wearing a cloth to hide his face. But Grace, I like how Grace shows compassion towards Harvey, where she says that she's willing to care for him, even though he's going through a lot and doing bad things. And even though he has a scarred face, she's willing to hear him out. But he does reveal his face. And that's where it's all interrupted by Rupert Thorne, who has shown up. And it's suggested that he killed the two twins, those two guys. But they later show up in Batman and Harley Quinn. Will it canon? I don't know. The Watchtower database answered it. But those two are probably still alive. They were probably just knocked out. But it leads to a gang fight until Batman shows up. And Two-Face is almost defeated. But he almost kills Rupert Thorne until he decides to let him go. After Batman ends up... this is straight out of Batman Forever, which we'll get to in a bit. But he ends up throwing a bunch of coins, causing Harvey to freak out, trying to find his lucky coin. But I even like the scene where Batman ends up I think they later even take out Kansas, who gets thrown on a table. We even see her shoe fly off. But Batman stops Two-Face and Rupert Thorne, and I think everyone's arrested, and Harvey's going to be taken care of. But the episode ends with Batman tossing the coin into the pond, into the night. So Two-Face is definitely a fantastic episode for sure. It perfectly demonstrated the downfall of Harvey Dent. Richard Mall is amazing as Two-Face. It's unfortunate he passed away, but he lives on in the Two-Face performance. And his design looks super creepy. The scene where they show his face, is definitely creepy for sure. And you feel the emotions between the characters, Batman, Two-Face, and Grace. You feel it. Other versions of Two-Face, I do like the Arkham versus Two-Face. The Brave and the Bold one's pretty nice. I like that one's classic design. The Tommy Lee Jones one was silly. But also, Aaron Aquin's Dark Knight Trilogy Two-Face, that one was really good. But I think the DCAU Two-Face is probably my favorite. I know that sounds cliche, but Richard Mall is truly great as Two-Face, for sure. But I give this episode a 10 out of 10. So I think I talked enough about this episode for sure. It is probably definitely the better episodes for sure of Batman the Animated Series. But I also want to tribute to Val Kilmer's Batman. He unfortunately passed away after a history of health issues. And I gotta say, Val Kilmer is definitely a decent Batman in my opinion. I don't think he's my favorite, but I definitely didn't mind him as Batman and Bruce Wayne. It's unfortunate he couldn't return for Batman and Robin, but he probably made a good move with by that decision. But I know he's known for other great roles. But Val Kilmer, you're truly a great Batman. Rest in peace, and may the Dark Knight live on in you. So the next episode I'm doing is It's Never Too Late. I know I've already reviewed that episode, but we're going to talk about it again next week. So with that being said, thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.